So we do have a minority government this morning, and we know the average minority government in this country lasts a little less than 2 years. So what will this mean for the years ahead? Joining us this morning is the Globe and Mail's Laura Stone. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I've been waiting to have this conversation with you all night long. All right, Justin Trudeau now facing an official opposition that is much stronger than it was last term. What does this mean for the Liberals, in particular when it comes to issues like the environment, treatment around the oil and gas sector?
Well, we saw last night that the population wagged their finger at Justin Trudeau, but they didn't push him out the door. The Liberals were still able to retain government, but they are weakened and they are going to have to work with some of the other parties, including more progressive parties such as the NDP and, of course, the Bloc Québécois, which won very, very big in Quebec. This is going to be a difficult few months for the Liberals because they have that environmental and energy agenda. They want to build the Trans Mountain Pipeline, but they're facing a progressive left that wants to improve climate change and strengthen those measures. So it's going to be a difficult balance for the Liberals ahead to move their agenda forward. They're going to have to work with all parties, including the Conservatives.
Yeah, it's interesting. You look at these results, and there's no clear interpretation. You could, on one hand, you could say that 65% of voters voted in favor of parties that are pro-pipeline, and on the other hand, you could say that the vast majority of Canadians voted in favor of left or center-left parties. So it's really tricky to read those tea leaves. But what do you make of the fact that Singh got stepped on by Scheer, who got stepped on by Trudeau in terms of their speeches last night? Is that a sign of things to come in this upcoming Parliament?
I think that was a sign of how nasty this election went. That it's very unusual for the leaders to all speak at the same time and essentially talk over each other, which is what we saw last night in their victory speeches. So they're going to have to listen to each other and make a little bit of room in Parliament to actually work together. But I think that was truly symbolic of the campaign, the type of campaign that we saw.
We saw regional politics come into play, right? When you take a look at that map overall, you've got NDP strong in the west, and then you've got this big block of blue, and then this solid red in Ontario, the block in Quebec. And those regional voting, it took out Ralph Goodale in the west, it took out Lisa Raitt here in Ontario. How do they govern with I heard somebody call it this morning a Franken government.
The country feels very divided this morning. I mean, the Liberals have no representation in Saskatchewan or Alberta. Of course, their pipeline plan depends on support in the west. So, and with the rise of the Bloc Québécois, whose only goal is to push the interests of Quebec, and it's traditionally the party of separatism. So there's going to be lots of regional division when the House of Commons returns this fall.
What does that say, too, about, Trudeau came in with this mandate, but we're all together. He had seats right across the board, and now the country is so firmly divided.
Well, Trudeau came in under a cloud. He was a flawed leader at the start of this campaign. I think a lot of Liberals are very relieved this morning that they actually ended up losing only 13 seats.
They stayed in power.
And they were able to stay in power. And I think there'll be some soul-searching on the part of both the Conservatives and the NDP as to why they were not able to win more seats, particularly the Conservatives, because, they saw a lot of opportunity here with Liberal leader Justin Trudeau.
Is there any rumblings with the NDP, with all the parties for that matter, all three major parties, in terms of sort of potential leadership change in the near future? Well,
Andrew Scheer will face a leadership review, but I think, you look at what he was able to accomplish. He gained 25 seats. It's not like the Tories went down in seat count, and as Anne-Marie said, they are coming back as a stronger opposition. Singh, coming into this, expectations were so low for him. Some party members thought they would lose official party status at 12. He was able to retain that, but a disappointing result for the NDP. They weren't able to break through in ridings in downtown Toronto or in British Columbia. And
they did get one in Alberta.
They got that Edmonton seat that they were able to retain in Alberta, and they retained one seat in Quebec. So that's where the party lost a lot of popularity.
All right, well, this is, like I said, we're going to be reading these tea leaves for the next few days to figure out what exactly this result means. We thank you for your input today. Thank you so much, Laura Stone.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.